Happymailqueen. So the last time I shared my project, a few of you guys wanted a tutorial on it, and well, I thought I'd go ahead and put out a tutorial. The album I'm referring to is my 4th of July album here. People are asking, you know, how big it is, how did I create it, how did I bind it, so I'm going to try to go over it as much as I can for you guys so that you can create one for yourself. This one, it was pretty simple to make because of the size. This is a 4.5. Oh, I'm sorry. The album itself, the cover is 5 by 7. Okay, that is the cover. I call it my patriotic album. The cover is 5 by 7 using chipboard. The inner page is, I call it my pocket pages, is 4.5 by 6. Okay, and a lot of you guys were interested in how I created my pocket and how I bound it. Okay, so first of all, what you're going to need, of course, aside from your chipboard and your paper of choice, you're going to need a cutter, okay, paper cutter, paper trimmer, some scissors if you don't have a paper trimmer, in which case you're going to have to do some measuring with a ruler. Okay, important. You do need a bone folder, okay, or a popsicle stick, anything that you can make your creases a little bit crisper so it lays nice and flat. And then you can either create your own pocket, in which case that's what I did with my album. But an easier way also, and I'm just going to share this with you guys, but I will do a tutorial on how I made my pocket pages. You could also use pre-made envelopes, and this is how I pretty much created my albums in the past. Okay, now they're not as sturdy, so, you know, because they are envelopes, they're thin. Okay, you're still going to put your pattern paper over it. And I would recommend this if you have your envelopes ready, you know, in your stash. And also if your cardstock is pretty sturdy, okay, like the Craftsmith ones, those are usually pretty thick cardstock, you know, kind of heavyweight cardstock, or DCWV, Die Cuts with a View, they have pretty good cardstock. The album that I'm going to be creating soon is from Recollections, and I find Recollections paper pads, they're not always so thick, okay, so in which case you would want to probably create your own pocket. But just to share with you guys, the way I create it is I will seal my envelope. I'll actually use my ATG gun to seal this completely shut. Depending on how I want this oriented, if you wanted portrait or if you want this landscape, you know, to pull your tags out, you seal it, and then I would just cut a sliver right here to create your opening, okay, for your pocket. So that's one way, or, you know, of course, if it's oriented this way, portrait way, then you'd cut a sliver here, and right away you pretty much have your, you know, pocket, okay, and then you would just bind it here with your bind it all, or whichever way you want to bind it. So that's one way to do it. You can, you know, again, pre-made envelope, seal it, cut where you want your opening to be, either up here, or if you want your tags coming out of the top, you'll do that. And then to create that little notch, this one right here, so this is landscape, okay, this is landscape orientation. To make that little notch, all you need is this, either an inch or a 1/4 of an inch, whatever you have on you, to go in your pocket, put it in there, okay, and you just basically cut, I don't know, I just kind of eyeball it, cut like that much, like half a moon, okay, you just cut it off and you have your notch. That's how you create it. Okay, I hope so far I'm making sense. So that's the envelope, okay, if you want to do it that way. Like I said, it's easier, but you need sturdy paper. Now, if you want to create this, in which most of you guys are asking how I created my pocket, it's really easy. I wanted a sturdy page, so I did use 110-pound cardstock. This is from Michaels, and it is heavy weight cardstock. Okay, 110 pound is what you want to look for. And the only really easy way to do this is, first of all, determine how big you want your pocket, and in which case mine is 4.5 by 6. Okay, and this is it right here. I already cut it. So if you want a 4.5, this is 4.5 going this way. Okay, basically to determine how you're going to cut your paper size. Okay, if you want 4.5, you're going to double that, in which case it's going to be 8. Oh, I'm sorry, 9. 4.5 plus 4.5. Okay, so that's your 4.5. This is your 4.5. That's 9. And then you're going to want a flap. In this case, I made a 1/2 inch flap. So you're basically going to cut a 9.5, okay, going across 9.5. That is how you want to cut your paper. Okay, so this is the part that you're going to fold, right? So it's 9.5. As you, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even in frame. Okay, there's your 9. Sorry, 9. You want to go 9.5. In which case it's right there. You see that? There's your 10. 9.5. And that's what you're going to line up. So you're going to cut that at 9.5, okay, and then turn it, and then your length is, what did we say, 6, right? 6 inch. And it's going to be exactly 6 inch. Okay, so cut at 6 inch. So then you also want to score. Sorry. So you're going to score at 4.5 because that's the size you want. So I just use my paper trimmer to score. I don't bother getting my scoreboard. 4.5. Now what I do is I actually fold before I do my next score line, and I line it up again at 4.5. And then I look at my, my page here at the end, and then I'll go ahead and score at 4.5 again. Okay, that's how I do it, so that I know that this is going to close properly. Okay, and I'm going to have that 1/2 inch flap. I hope that made sense. Okay, so the way I put my adhesive on is, you can do it 2 ways. You can put your adhesive on the inside this way, okay, and the finish does look better, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to cover this up with paper. I didn't do it this way. I actually put my flap over like that, so that way when I actually put my tag, I'm not gonna have to fuss with it. It's gonna slide in there easily because there is nothing that's gonna get in the way, versus if I had this and I glued it in there, and you're gonna have the flap right there where it's glued. that makes sense. Sometimes, you know, that can kind of get in the way of how smooth your inserts, you know, your tags are going to go in and out. So since I knew I was going to completely cover this with paper, I put my adhesive inside, and then I'll do that. Okay, so that's how I did my pocket page. See, really easy. Now, before you glue this, I would also glue here. And for this album, because of the adhesive that I had, I actually just used, where's my adhesive? I think I put it away. I actually used my red line tape. So let's go ahead and just do this. You could also use your ATG gun, but this is really strong. All I would do is just put a tiny, and I like this one because it's only 1/8 inch in width. I basically would do that. Get your scissor, cut. Okay, and then I would adhere that down. And here, because I'm going to cover it with paper, it doesn't have to be so strong because my paper is going to go over it. I'm going to put more adhesive over that. You can just use your ATG gun. So I would just put my ATG. Peel this. And make sure if you have any glue that you put it in there, okay, so it does not catch on anything. I would glue that first, okay, and glue that. And again, I would use my bone folder to just make sure that that's nice and flat. And I think it's under here. Just flatten that out, make sure that is nice and adhered. Okay, and that's how you do your pocket. You'd put your paper down, okay, using whatever, your ATG gun. Put your pattern paper. After you put your pattern paper, then I would create the notch. I just basically aim for the middle. Put my punch upside down and go, depending on how deep you want your notch. Right there is good, about halfway. And that's how your notch is. And then you would put your holes here. And that is your page. So I hope that was simple enough for you guys. Okay, again, that's for a pocket page of 4.5 by 6. I'll show you the cover in a minute. Your cover is going to be 5 by 7. Now to create this size pocket, okay, this is a 6 5/8 by 7. No, 6 5/8 this way by 5.5. 5.5, 6 5/8. All right. What you're going to do is take a 12 by 12 inch paper, okay, cut it in half. So you're basically cutting it 6 inch by 12. Okay, so you just cut it in half. You are going to, you're going to score, okay, at 6 5/8 or 6.5 if, I mean, this is just how I did mine because of my binding. 6 5/8. Okay, score it. There's your score line, okay? Now remember, for my album, I started off with a full page, and then the other side is the one that has the pocket. So in this case, you know, you can leave it like this and not go slanted. That could be a pocket right there. Okay, so, but you want a flap for the side, because you want your flap on this side. So we are going to turn this over, okay, the inside part way, okay, where the flap, where that pocket that you created, and you're gonna make a 1/2 inch score line. Okay, so you started off with your 6 by 12, you scored at 6 5/8, just to repeat, okay, 6 5/8, you flipped it over, and you made your 1/2 inch flap. You're going to score all the way down. Okay, so then you're going to cut, let's see, we'll keep the flap on here, okay? So where your pocket is, you want to keep that there. Take your scissors. Where did I put my scissors? Take your scissors and mind frame. You're going to cut this whole panel out. Or you can use your paper trimmer, whichever. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to cut. Okay. You have your flap here. What I like to do is angle it a little bit, kind of miter that. And that, and you want to do the other side too. Kind of like a V. Okay. Cut and cut. And you want to do that when you have flaps, because when you fold it in, it's not going to be bulky. Okay? When you fold this over like that, if you had it all the way straight, it's going to hit that crease. Okay? It's going to hit where you're going to fold, and it's just not going to lay flat. So that's why you want to create that. Okay? And there you go. And of course you're going to take your bone folder and just make sure you make that nice and crisp. Alright. You're going to put your adhesive right here on the outside. Glue that there. And then this part, I would again just use a small amount, very thin. And I use this one because if I use this, when I cut those holes, it's not going to hit my adhesive. Okay? Because the holes are going to be below where that adhesive is. So that's why I like to use this one. So you're going to do your adhesive like so. I'm going to take this off. Okay. Now I would use a strong adhesive here, not just your ATG gun, because you're creating this as a pocket. You're not putting paper all, you know, you can put paper over it, but you want to make sure that that pocket stays. Okay, and you're going to make sure you're going to burnish that down so it sticks. You're going to put your adhesive here, of course, and there's your pocket, okay? But we wanted to make that angle, right? Okay, so I basically had to measure and make sure that when you put your holes here, that the edge of this is not going to land on one of the holes, right? So you're going to have to really create a little template. And what I would do is I would cut a piece of scrap paper this size as your pocket, as your page, okay? And then you're going to have to follow the directions on your Zutter Bind It All. But you want to make sure that those holes, you want to lay it over this, because see that? See how that is landing, like that hole is landing in between this, the edge of this. It's in the middle of that hole. I hope you can see that. You don't want that. You want it below. You want so that when you fold, and I think the way I did mine is, sorry, I jumped the gun and I put the adhesive, the way, I'm going to take this off for a sec. The way I did mine is, I think I measured this based on where my holes were going to land. Let's see, how did I have my slant? It was going this way, right? So I went, I think from this end where the flap is, I went 4 1/4 inch. I think it was 4 1/4 inch. So this is where I want to go, kind of right here, 4 1/4 inch. And then you want to put a line here where you're actually gonna slant that pocket. I didn't really draw lines and all that. I kind of winged it, but just to show you guys, depending on how deep you want that flap. Let's just cut this part off. Sorry, I totally forgot about the slant. I want to cut that off. You're going to go this way, right? Maybe just use a pencil, then you can just erase it. You can score that line too, if it's easier. See, all you do is score it. So it will, especially if your cardstock is kind of thick, you can just score. Line that up and score. And it'll be easier to fold. Okay, do it with a pencil. I just want to show you guys so that you can actually see the line. And that's how you make your slanted pocket. And then you would bind. You would make your holes here. Okay? So, let me just show you the tool for the binding. This is the Zutter Bind It All. Now, as far as I know, there's another one out there called the Cinch, and I think they both work the same way. I've never tried the Cinch before, so I don't know which is better. At the time when I started crafting, I was more familiar with the Bind It All. I kind of researched it, and I got a great deal on it, and so that's why I went for the Zutter Bind It All. But again, I don't know. I'm biased to the Bind It All because I don't have the Cinch. The Cinch is bigger, okay? This one's nice and small, and it's pink. So that's how it looks like from the side. You have some settings here, A, B, C, D. A is open, B is continuous, meaning that's when you do your pages, okay, the inner pages. C is for the cover, okay, and D is, oh, sorry, D is the inner pages. Continuous is if you want to keep making your holes. There's a lever right here too that coordinates with that. So if you were doing your cover, then you would put this on C. So this part lines up with C. Okay, and then of course if you're doing your inner pages, then it'd be at D. Okay, and you're gonna have to follow the instructions. I'm no expert at this. But this is how the Zutter Bind It All looks like. And basically it comes with a little book, and it gives you the options of it gives you the measurements, you know, depending on the size of your cover, the size of your inner pages, and then that way it'll create the holes evenly for you on a page. For this one, like I said, this one was 6 by 5/8, so it's perfectly designed to create, how many holes? 8 holes, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oh, 12 holes. It creates 12 holes. So I have it at, what do I have it at? Cover? No, I want it at inner pages, so I want D. And the way you do it is you put it in the slot. D right here is the setting, and you want to put that flush against there. And it gets tricky because what you want to do is really hold that down, and then you're going to press this lever down. Okay, and sometimes I just kind of press it down a little bit to lock it, and then you kind of have to put your weight on it a little bit, and you press it down that direction, and it creates the holes for you. Okay, then you're going to have to pull this again, and you're going to have to put it on continuous, which is C. Not continuous. Continuous is what? B. Put it at B. You're going to find the 5th hole. It tells you how to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th hole. There's a little notch that catches to put that in the 5th hole, and that keeps it in place. That makes sense. And then you, again, make another hole. Pull that out, and see? Creates your hole. Huh. Oh yeah, that's okay. And that's it, see? And then you have your rings. Let me see. I forgot to grab my rings. Hold on, guys. This is how the wire looks like. Again, it's by Zutter, and if you just look it up online or Amazon, Zutter, you know, you can put Bind It All wires. It comes in silver, black, white. I think that's all I've seen. I'm not sure if it comes in any other colors than that. And then it comes in 3/4 inch. It comes in 1/2 inch, meaning the ring size, okay? For this one here, I used the 1 inch, okay? And the rings look like this. And you basically cut it to size. So in this case, I said I had 12 holes. So I would actually count, see these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, and I would cut here. And then I can, it shows you how to bind it, but they basically just go in. And you use the machine, once you have all your pages in there, to close this, and it will create the O, the round rings. So it comes like that. It comes open, and then the machine will close it. This machine here will basically, you press this lever again and it closes it. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and I hope my tutorial was helpful to you guys and that it wasn't too confusing. So that is how I bind my mini albums. For the cover, let's do that one. Okay, so what you need is your chipboard. And whatever size you decide. Now, since we wanted the tutorial for this one here, it was a 5x7, right? So I get my chipboard from Amazon. This is medium weight chipboard in white, although that side is, you know, regular craft color. Basically, I create maybe a 3/4, it's not quite half an inch. I do a 3/4 flap all around is what I do. So you take your cover, okay, in this case the white is going to go this way because that's the cover, right? So I'm going to put adhesive here. Let's do that. Okay, you could put adhesive all around here too if you'd like. Let's do that. Oops. And for this part, ATG is okay, but for your flaps, so they don't open up, I would suggest score tape or your red line tape, something really strong. Some people do wet glue too, so whichever is your adhesive of choice. I pretty much eyeball it, you guys. I do about 3/4 inch from the edge here. And I'll just lay that down. You can be more precise and actually measure this out, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to eyeball it. You want basically the same length all around. Okay, again, this is for your cover. I basically just kind of roll it over, okay, because you don't want your paper to crack. Okay, I wouldn't really use my bone folder here because you don't want your paper to crack. Once you have your adhesive, I would use the bone folder just right here, okay, to make sure that adhesive is right on there. So I'll do that all around, okay, without gluing it yet, just creating my score line basically, you know, just to make sure that that cover really wraps around that chipboard, okay? And then again, you want to miter your corners. So I'll start with one side and I'll go this way. And you know who has a great tutorial on this? And she makes it look so easy, is Scrap the World. This is how I learned. I mean, I knew how to make this, but I was doing it like so precise, and then she had created a tutorial, and I mean, she made it look so easy, like no measurements, you know? She just did it like this. Okay, so I'm kind of just cutting kind of close to the edge, but not all the way to that point, that corner. Okay, leaving a little room, and then I go that way. Okay, again, kind of want to do that V pattern there. I mean that V, that diagonal cut, and you're going to do diagonal cut going this way. Diagonal cut, and diagonal cut this way. Okay, you're going to put your adhesive, and again, I said use strong adhesive. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to use just the HEG gun. Put adhesive all around. I'm going to have to do some editing, guys. on this video because it's going to be super long. Okay, put adhesive all around. You're going to start with one side. You're just going to kind of roll that and press down. You're going to take the opposite side. You're going to roll that and press down. Okay, now I will take my bone folder and I'll actually make sure that's flat in the corner right there. That's flat in the corner right there, to make sure that that's fully covered when you put that over. And I'll do the same thing on this side, okay? Sometimes you get a little overlap and you want to make sure that that's nice and flat down. Okay, and then you just start from the middle and fold. Roll from the middle and fold. A little adhesive there. You want to make sure again before you fold that your adhesive is tucked in, okay? Then I would use your bone folder just to get that nice and down. Then you take another piece of paper, whatever, piece of paper, and you make sure you measure that out so that you have at least, you'll kind of see where the paper meets there. I would do maybe like that, like leave like 1/4 inch border around. So your paper, of course, is going to go up to here. Okay, and then you're going to make sure you have nice strong tape behind that paper too, and put that down. And then you can create your pocket or whatever you want. Okay, but that's how your cover will be. And then again, you would put this through your bind it all to make the holes. Okay, and of course when you do the back, it'd be this way, right? It'd be this way, so you're going to put it this way through your bind it all to create the hole. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to you guys, and thanks for watching. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye.